So because I will be touching my face at some point. So here is the majority of our talk is over here, is the precaution against droplets, which we think is how most infection occurs. So this is a person that's coughing or sneezing. So if it's possibly a she, if she sneezes, because the hair is a little bit longer, I think it's a she. So if she sneezes, the sneeze is like a gust of wind, like typhoon. It can go well beyond 2 meters and well beyond 6 meters. And this large spray droplet will be carrying down forward from the force of a sneeze. If it's a cough, it can reach up to 2 meters or maybe beyond that. Again, the large droplets potentially carrying viruses. Um, for a typical talking or exhalation, like exercising, we think that the droplet, doesn't carry that much force, so it will fall down by gravity around 1.5 meters. And that's when social distancing is helping because you're staying beyond that, more than 2 meters, right outside of the splash zone. And here is example of aerosols, before we're talking about uh, airborne transmissions, so the aerosol is very small. It doesn't matter the force of transmissions. It will flow on and on. And thank God this is what we think not the major cause of transmission at this point. So here's some droplets that we can see again on YouTube.
Now I'm recording.
Stay healthy.
Great,
Stay healthy.
great. Less loud.
Stay healthy.
Good.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
Louder.
Stay healthy.
Louder.
Stay healthy.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of horrifying to imagine my face or someone I'm talking to has a tiny droplet of my saliva on their face whenever I talk, because that's how I lived before. So, how to prevent these droplets to get on the faces? This is what we do in our intensive care unit. It's called Max Air, so it's kind of reminds me of a spaceman's helmet. The face is completely enclosed with a motor that's filtering air through a virus filter. So the air inside the face is always clean and it's completely enclosed through plastics. So we don't have that, we have to make do with what we have. So here's the fun mental exercise or analogies. Out of the three people here, it is pouring rain out. Which person has the best protection against the rain? So it's the one that's closest to us, or second person over here, or the third person that's further away apart from us over here. So we're just gonna linger on and think about it. All right. So just a side note, I see this all the time. It's called what, K95. Essentially, is like a N95 but with a exhale valve. So exhale valve. So it's designed for industrial use. The thought is that if I'm a miner, and the mine or coal doesn't mind me to exhale my air on them. So there is no viral filter in this valve. Everything coming out of the valve is unfiltered, and if this person is infected, God forbid, then the exhale is thought to be or possibly contagious or infectious. So it is illegal around Bay Area. It's considered not even wearing mask. I would think a little bit better than not wearing a mask, but it doesn't. It protects this person, right? That the air coming in is being filtered through the mask. It's just the air coming out. It's not. So it doesn't really help our community to have this kind of mask, even though it's much easier to wear. Please don't wear it. So here is it's also this is a symbol of our society now as mask. So these are hot commodities even in the hospital, especially this one. So surgical mask in N95. Surgical mask is thought to be a stopping droplet, and because when we inhale, the air actually goes from the top and from the sides here. So the droplets, the airborne is tiny, so it's thought to be you can go over through here or through that way. But the droplet is too big, so it will be stopped with the mask. Whereas the N95 is completely enclosed, and so every air comes in and every air goes out is filtered through this mask, and 99.97 of the particles, I stand correct, 95% of the tiny particles will be filtered. So it blocks aerosols because it's just completely enclosed. Inhale, exhale air. So multiple studies has been done, not for this new COVID, it's the old SARS, the first SARS, the COVID-1. And the study was done to see which mask is appropriate and adequate. And the conclusions of the study is that the surgical mask is just as good or as efficacious as the N95. It's very similar to influenza, how we treat influenza patients. It used to be N95, but because of all these studies, now in any hospitals you go is droplet precautions, or the nurses only were told to wear this, and this alone is enough to protect them. So, and that's why in the beginning, a lot of hospitals thought a surgical mask is appropriate as PPEs for nurses to take care of COVID-19. We have gained more understanding now. In the hospital, when the patient are actively coughing, oftentimes without mask, out of those coughs, there will be more aerosolizations, or essentially lots and lots of air full of viruses. So the surgical mask probably is not enough. And if your hospital and my hospital has the N95, we will want to wear N95 for someone who's coughing has the COVID-19. So, but for you and I in the community, where um, the person is not actively coughing all the time, this is probably enough, as most of the transmission is caused by droplet. and the surgical mask is good for droplets, based on the first studies with the first SARS. So how to put on surgical mask? I think the gist of it is just to not touch the mask. And so you'll treat the color mask as outside, and then the white part goes inside to your face, and just handle it by the ears. And after mask is on, then adjust the nose and the chin. And the once you're done with the mask, it's like taking care of a tissue paper. You try to not touch the mask and just handle it again by the ears and toss it. Well, we can toss our mask these days. It's hard to come by, you know. Even I are running out of masks at my home, a surgical mask, which I have some before the pandemic. So what our hospital does, and this is what N95 is, they give us a little bit of brown bag. Remember previous slides, the mask, the virus can live on the mask up to 7 days. So if I have, and I do have 7 brown bags, and mark them by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on, and I rotate them, theoretically, I'm sterilizing the mask by just leaving it there and let the virus die. So let the time kills the viruses. So this is a way that you can reuse your mask, is just rotate them and let them dry off, you know, kind of like you're drying off clothes to sterilize the mask. So if you don't want to do that, or you don't have enough masks, like 7 of them to rotate around, the Taiwanese actually, the Center of Disease Control of Taiwan actually published and protocolize to use a rice cooker, and it has to be a Taiwanese rice cooker. Somehow, you know, that's how the study is designed. And this cooker can heat the temperature from 145 to 175 Celsius. There is a study done by Chin and colleagues from Hong Kong and published in the Lancet that temperature of more than 175 for 5 minutes is good to sterilize the virus up to 95% and more. So so here's the protocol: is you put the metal rack in the rice cooker, and you put the inner pot, you know, so then you put the mask into the inner pot, and you just press the button, like this button over here. So AU will automatically spring out, you know, because there's no steam, it just naturally shut off. And you just let it sit for another 5 minutes to maximize the sterilizing effects. And you can do this 3 to 5 times, or maybe just 4 times. And this way, it is thought that it's good enough to sterilize the mask up to 99%. Even though moist heat is much better for sterilizing, there's a chance that it would reduce the filtration rate or decrease the effect of the mask. So essentially ruin the mask, you know, moistures. So dry heat is probably better for the mask, and dry heat is probably enough to kill the virus. So here's a video of how it's done.
With the nation donning masks to fight COVID-19, surgical masks have become a precious commodity.
Can the lifespan of a face mask be extended? The Taiwan Food and Drug Administration showed us how. It turns out that all you need is a rice cooker.
At the Central Epidemic Command Centre's daily press conference, a rice cooker became the centre of attention. Health Minister Chen Shih-chung tried to demonstrate how to use it to extend the lifespan of a used mask.
这个内锅架放进去，内锅架啊，不是，这个部长没有煮过饭哈。来。
Laughter broke out after the minister mistakenly put the rack inside the inner pot. After the rack was placed in the right spot, which is under the inner pot, the used mask should go inside the inner pot, which stands on the rack. The thing to remember is that no water should be added. Just turn on the appliance, let it cook for 3 minutes, and then let it sit for 5 minutes before removing the lid. The mask is then completely disinfected.
感觉蛮舒服的，真的，温温的，味道也很好。
放水这个其实会影响到我们那个口罩它本身的静电层。
If you put water in it, it'll affect the mask's static electrical layer. So what about using alcohol to disinfect it? Actually, that's not a good idea.
因为它里面的内锅壁的温度已经达到165度左右。
Since the temperature of the inner pot reaches 165 degrees, all the germs that need to be killed are killed.
The FDA found that rice cooker disinfection can kill more than 99% of the germs and lower the mask sufficiently by just 1% to 2%. It advises that a used mask can be disinfected this way 4 or 5 times at most. However, if a mask is soiled, torn, or is used by someone with a chronic disease or respiratory symptoms, it should be discarded.
Oh, right. So that's the country where I was born, how they do it. So again, this is a rice cooker made in Taiwan. The brand is called Da Tong. Here's someone who used a non-Taiwanese rice cooker. I'm not sure how to use rice cookers very well. It's just that maybe it's just the quality of the mask, but it's completely melted. So yeah, it's hard to say. But I would imagine, if the whole nation is doing it and the government's behind and support this method, that's probably good enough to sterilize your mask, assuming you use the right rice cooker and with the right procedures. So yeah, it's sad. I see these a lot, in every stores really, in front of Costco, CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, etc. Tough times.